All right, everyone, welcome back to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie and Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. And with me here today, I have Barry Moore.
Hello there, Evie.
Hello, and a very special guest, Dr. Wally Smith.
Yo, yo, yo.
Today, Dr. Smith is going to talk about not just his background, but a couple of other things, including you have an event coming up, right?
We do. 15th annual Unity Ride for
Wow.
Sickle Cell Disease, Saturday, May the 4th, 9 a.m., leaving Zion Baptist Church, going to Second Baptist Church, leaving Petersburg, going to South Richmond. The 15th time, 300 motorcycles from around
Awesome.
the East Coast,
Nice.
all in support of sickle cell disease.
Wonderful.
Food vendors. Oh,
Food
yeah.
trucks?
Trucks.
Love it.
Farmers market.
Farmers market.
Music to
Car
my
show.
ears.
Do I have you hooked yet?
Yes, you
Is there a
do.
website?
There's a website. Here it is. It's on eBright. And let's see if I can get this website come up. Just Google 15th Annual Unity Ride for Sickle Cell.
15th Annual Unity Ride for Sickle Cell.
Yep, it'll come right up.
That's awesome. So let's get into some Q&A.
Yes.
And first, Evie, why don't you get the introduction? Because this is new to you also. I'm an old student of Dr. Smith, so I'd like you to lead the way.
Friend.
I'm a student. I'm a student and a friend. But go ahead. Why don't you get to know him a little bit, Evie?
Yeah,
So everybody
so
else
Barry's given me a little bit of a background, but I really want to hear firsthand from you.
Yeah,
I know you're a doctor
I am.
from BCU.
I am.
All right, and what do you do at BCU?
Yeah, my official muckety muck title.
You got a business card too, I saw.
Oh, Lord. Florence Neal Cooper Smith,
Yes.
Professor of Sickle Cell Disease at VCU.
Mhm.
And I'm the inaugural holder of that. We'll talk more
Wow.
about the professorship
Yes.
coming up, but I'm also the vice chair for research for the Division of General Internal Medicine. And I run something called the Adult Sickle Cell Medical Home with 1,200 patients and 18 staff.
Wow. So for someone like me who's completely ignorant about sickle cell disease,
Yeah.
give me a little information about what it is and who it affects.
Well, worldwide, it's the most common inherited hemoglobinopathy. Hemoglobinopathy just means there's something wrong with your blood cells, your hemoglobin. In the United States, 3 times more common than cystic fibrosis, 100,000 people. 1 in 12 African Americans in the United States has the sickle cell trait. If 2 people with the sickle cell trait have a baby, there's a 1 in 4 chance that that baby will have homozygous sickle cell disease. About 1 in 365 African Americans has sickle cell disease. It kills you. It kills you because of infection. If you're not careful, you have to take penicillin until you're age 6. It kills you because of strokes. If you're not careful, you have to take transfusions. And then it kills you because of organ failure. But then you are in pain your whole life, starting at age of 6 months. You have these vaso-occlusive crises that drive you to the hospital. The doctors don't believe you're in pain because they can't see anything. And they have to treat you with opioids, which they don't want to do because you're Black and you're poor. And then you have to get lots of treatments, to keep you alive. Now, 95% of kids make it to adulthood, praise God.
Wonderful.
Between penicillin, between all the prophylactic treatments, 95% of kids make it to adulthood. But then we have to keep the adults alive. And that's where we are. We're stuck trying to keep these adults alive, and they're dying between the ages of 15 and 40.
Now, your research, what kind of research are you doing now to help with that?
Yeah, we have taken on everything from curing the disease down to taking care of mama and daddy and housing and social needs. We're a full service home, medical home. So give you an example. We have one of the first people to ever get a gene therapy, which is a complete cure. That was at VCU, one of 33 people to get that particular gene therapy. There's two types of gene therapy. He got one of the two types. Bone marrow transplantation, several patients who've been cured that way. We have 4 drugs, and we give all 4 drugs to anybody who is eligible and would like to. And we have hundreds of patients taking these drugs. We also do research on just how the disease is affecting your psyche, how it's affecting your jobs, how it's affecting your daily activities of living, your family. And then we try to come up with interventions, including cognitive behavioral therapy, things like, whatever you might need for your pain.
Yeah.
By the time you get to be an adult, the pain is daily.
Okay.
Daily. 30% of patients, every day they're in pain. Over half of adults have pain over half of their days. So it is a disease of chronic pain, more kind of like fibromyalgia by the time you get to be an adult than it is just plain old vaso-occlusive crises, which is what the doctors know about. And until recently, our research was the first to show this. Until recently, the doctors thought, okay, that's the only thing they come into the hospital for is pain. And when they're not in the hospital, they're not in pain. Wrong. They're in pain all the time.
Yeah, they can't be there.
We did daily diaries, 308 patients, 29,000 diaries. We proved they're in pain all the time.
So I tell people about you. So let's go back to when I met you was Shirley Johnson came and talked to me about it, and I struggled because I'm a white male and I wanted to understand why I should care. Well, I was just asking that question to see her response. I think that this town, this country, the world should look at every human being, regardless of color or what affects who. We're all human beings, right? We're all children of God. And the pain these people are in, I care about. So we did the event with the Steelers with James Ferrier and
fun.
Ryan Clark. And
That was fun.
and that's where we got to know each other a little bit. Been to Virginia State with you. I've had you talk here and there. I think we did Showcase Richmond way back when
We did.
on TV. And so this is a city that you're at a state institution, right?
Yeah.
VCU. We are lucky to have you. And it's not because you're sitting here. I tell people you're world renowned. I think around the world you're known. But your research has mattered. Your career has made a difference. But what's wrong? When I come back to Richmond 2 years ago, I'm at the Better Business Bureau. And what is wrong with this town that we have not raised? We wanted to raise how much with the foundation?
We need $1 million.
Period.
Yes.
That's a drop in the bucket. We know that.
It is a drop in the bucket.
For one person.
One person could give $1 million.
Yes, today.
One person has given $1 million to VCU in the past. 8 to be exact. Excuse me, $104 million for liver disease to be exact. One person did that. So yes, we need $1 million. And sickle cell disease is not cute.
No, it's not.
Sickle cell disease is not a disease of the people in power. Sickle cell disease.
That's not accurate, though. Be careful, because the world's changing.
Okay.
I'm going to call you out on that.
Call me out.
Who is running the delegation?
Okay. Who's the president of the United States?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be everybody. Let's
All
face
right.
it. It's 2024.
Okay.
2018, I would have believed you.
All right.
And I believe you always.
Okay, 6 years ago, I was right.
Yeah. Not that this, you're a lot smarter than me, but all I want you to do is get $1 million.
I'm saying statistically speaking.
Yeah, I get it. You're right.
People with sickle cell disease don't have power.
That's correct.
Versus people with cystic fibrosis, cancer, hemophilia. Shall I keep going?
No.
HIV.
Right.
So we're sucking the hind teat.
Yep.
That's an old farmer's thing. If you don't
Yes.
understand that, get your book open.
Yeah.
And we are needing to get to the front of the bus. We're at the back of the bus.
I so agree. And it was that, what does that $1 million do? Because it doesn't cure anything.
No.
Or what does it do?
No.
That's critical to our society.
It established.
We have the right mayor right now.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Is he done a spot for you yet?
No.
Boy, he would be a great one. He's on Alzheimer's. He's got a very good speech about.
So you're playing into my little bias.
Okay,
Okay.
and I like him. Yeah.
Howard University and the New York Times did a poll. 37% of African Americans don't know that sickle cell disease is inherited.
So
Mm-hmm. In the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. So we have a lot of education to do and awareness to do, even though the National Sickle Cell Disease Control Act was passed in 1972 to combat these problems and to get the education out.
What year was that?
1972.
He wasn't even born. Right.
Nixon.
Watergate. Think about what's happened.
Even though that happened, and Florence Neal Cooper Smith, from whom my professorship is named,
Yes,
had one of the first 19 educational programs in the country, going to churches and schools and colleges and explaining what sickle cell disease was and screening. Even though all that's happened, people now think it's cured. People think this gone away. And so it's gotten quiet. And the incidence of sickle cell disease is going up. And yes, you make it to adulthood, but the mortality rates are going up among adults. We have a real public health problem on our hands.
and speaking as a person that's been on oxycodone a couple times for surgeries, I listen to the rocket scientists out there, and they believe that it's completely just let's get rid of oxycodone. Let's don't worry about pain.
Yeah,
And it's I would never have done the rehab without that.
sure.
My leg would still be up, my shoulder would still be a problem.
Sure.
But your folks that are dealing with this pain,
They can't avoid it.
They can't, but yet the guys like me in the
Yeah.
hospital are saying, "Oh no, you already alluded to it."
Some would
And I
say
get
that I'm addicting my patients.
Right, imagine that.
I
You're
have
already
them on
addicted to pain.
oxycodone.
Yeah.
I have them on oxycodone.
Morphine,
I have them on morphine. I proudly have them on that.
and then the rocket scientists try to save them.
They try to save
They
them.
give them
from
an
my-
aspirin.
They give them an aspirin. And they kick them in the teeth because this is like somebody taking a hammer to your leg
Yep.
and hitting on it and hitting on it, and the next hour and the next day
Never.
and the next week, you're still getting hit by the hammer.
So what are we doing when the kids are born now? That
Well,
might
the
be
first thing
at
we
risk,
do,
'cause you surprised me on this.
well, the first thing we do is we screen them to make sure they're not going to have a stroke, and we start them on penicillin. And if they have a stroke, Barry, we put them on the road to a transplant because their life's going to be miserable.
Right.
And if they get that transplant and survive that and don't get graft versus host disease and all the complications that can come from a bone marrow transplant, they have a very different life. But a lot of kids don't have access. 1 in 5 will have access to that transplant. 4 out of 5 will not. So we now have to prepare them for adulthood and a life that is productive as an adult with this disease. It's possible. I have teachers, I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have engineers with this disease. It's possible, but you need a lot of intervention early. You need family support. You need a medical home like ours. There's not enough medical homes, by the way. Ours is a rare thing. We're the 4th largest clinic in the country. There's not clinics like ours.
They're all looking for jobs. They're all employable.
And you helped.
Yeah, and I wish I could have done more. We're going to do it again. We have another job fair coming up.
We do.
And Shirley reached out to me for that. And hopefully I'm going to get some recruiters there, and we're going to grow that.
We are.
We had a couple of accredited businesses show up, if you remember.
I remember.
And Mr. Fixit, the credit union, Virginia Credit Union, and a couple others. It was exciting. But these people have to be understood, just like hiring somebody out of recovery, out of drug and alcohol, or out of with C.T. Woody or Carl Leonard out of the jails. You have to have an understanding and appreciation. And it takes years. I had somebody tell me yesterday at the dealership I used to work, said, Barry, you opened the door for somebody here that I just hired a year or 2 ago that was incarcerated for 8 or 10 years. you gave me the power to do that.
Mhm.
So that's one individual, and that's how it happens, right?
Thank
One
you.
individual at a time, but you need more of me.
You do.
I don't care, white, black, Asian, I don't care.
But we
Human
need you.
beings. We need
You
human
have been
beings.
a force, and I want to
Yeah.
thank you publicly
Yeah.
for the work you've done to open people's eyes about this. Especially, if you say something to the white community about this, it means more than if people expect me, the black man, to
Right.
say something about what they perceive as a black
Right.
disease. Doesn't affect me. If you say something and it matters to you, by the way, your daughter might marry one of these patients.
That's the big thing right now, right?
You might
Hello.
date somebody, they might have a baby. No.
Hello.
White people get sickle cell trait too, and they get
Yes.
hemoglobin C. And if hemoglobin C and sickle cell trait get together, guess what? That's sickle cell disease.
Right. And then who knows what's going to happen if we don't get it under control in 52 generations from now.
Yeah.
It's a blood, right? It's
Yeah.
blood. So you don't know.
In Brazil, they're planning ahead. Brazil is a model nation, multiracial.
Yeah.
They're planning ahead for how many more sickle cell patients they will have.
Wow. Well, when you told me that, I get so excited. You know that. You're I'm one of your biggest fans, and again, I will always get into the race card because I don't believe in the race card, and we're all racist some way. I had somebody teach me.
I am.
It's
I'll
Seton
admit
Hall. It's Seton
I
Hall.
teach about that.
Yes.
We are all racist.
Every
we
human
better
being.
admit that we have prejudices.
If we
I'm
did,
Greek, and I always tell people they're the nicest racist people you're ever gonna meet.
Okay, Italians, come on.
and if we would just, the narrative would stop. We wouldn't have divisiveness if we all just say, "Hey, I admit it. I don't know where it is, but it's in me.
It is.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
I'm on a journey, by the way.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm on a journey.
Take me with you. Go
I'm
ahead.
on a perspective-taking journey.
Okay.
There's a test called the IDI that tells you where you stand on the journey.
Really?
Oh, yeah, $30. Go on. The Intercultural Developmental Inventory will tell you where you are on your journey.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we're going to share that out.
Yeah.
BBB. We're going to get them on a podcast with that at this Ignite Center. But all right, we're at about 18 minutes, and so people don't listen past 10.
That's true.
So 144 characters on Twitter. There's a
I
reason.
get it. I
So
get it.
are we going to give you the opportunity to wrap up anything that
Yeah.
you think is
Well,
critical?
I want to say to every person, I used to say every black person.
Right. Every
I
human
now
being.
say every person, know your status. You might have C trait, Greek ma'am. You may have sickle cell, you may have C trait. And if you got somebody with sickle cell trait and you have a baby with them and they have hemoglobin SC, they have sickle cell disease. You may have thalassemia, Miss Greek person. Everybody should know their status. Say this with me: hemoglobin,
Hemoglobin,
electrophoresis.
electrophoresis,
One more time: hemoglobin, electrophoresis.
electrophoresis.
You should get one of those from your doctor.
Wow. Wow. That's
my public health message. And my fundraising message is consider sickle cell disease the way you would the St. Jude's of the world. Give that way.
Talk about Florence real quick. Sorry, I was going to cut you off.
Florence is 93. She's had a stroke. We want to get this $1 million before she passes away.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear you say, because I'm with you.
I'm needing $1 million.
1972.
She gave herself a pledge that she would get $1 million before she died. Now she's had a stroke. We need to get the money.
And that's going through your foundation.
It is the MCV Foundation. Just Google MCV Foundation /sickle cell. It'll come right up.
And we're going to put them on a podcast too. We share them out, the news and everything, and how people can help. But I would hope by the end of May of 2024, we can hit $1 million.
That'd be nice.
And all the statues down, all the TV shows, all the problems we're identifying, we can make a difference.
We can
at
make
$1 million.
Difference.
It's not hypothetical that maybe we'll get along better.
You could come to the ride. Donating to the ride is donating to the profession.
There you go. Okay, good. So Evie's going to take us home, as she always does, and we're on the web. Say hello to the owl. Have you ever seen this?
Hey.
This is your radio voice with your TV face.
Yes, I need a job doing voiceovers. Thank you.
Go ahead, Evie.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. And today I had my wonderful guest, Dr. Wally Smith. Please make sure to listen and donate and do anything you can help so we can make a difference in our communities with sickle cell disease. Thank you.
It's awesome. Let's get 100 new friends for Dr. Wally
Yep.
Smith on LinkedIn today.
Today.
Let's make it happen because it matters.
Thank you.